We all know the feeling of wanting to live out our dreams and escape work. But do you know the feeling of working to live out your dreams? Bigelow T certainly does. He's an aspiring rapper with a little bit of time in the game, but he's all gas and no brakes right now. If you want to hear about how he's working toward his dreams, sit back and keep watching. Who are you? Where are you from? And can you give me a brief bio on you?
My name is Bigelow T, aka Tanner Johnson. I'm from Peoria, Illinois, so not too far away from here. Brief bio on me: I went to Dunlap High School and didn't really have any dreams of music when I was in high school. I played sports and wanted to be a PE teacher originally, so it was just in a super athletic sport coach kind of mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to ICC for the first couple years of college and just kind of spent a lot of time by myself, just driving to school or at work and just doing whatever. Learned a lot about myself and started getting really into music since I didn't really hang out with a lot of people. Just spent a lot of time grinding, just listening to music a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, well, shoot, let me see if I can do it myself. So I started writing lines and just doing whatever. And then I started seeing if I could actually rap it. So I started just practicing rap, and then I was like, well, dang, this is actually fun, and I'm kind of getting decent at it. So let's just see where it can keep taking me.
Mm-hmm. As you were doing that first open mic session back in 2021 of August, what was the moment that you really knew you were destined for music?
I think it was definitely when I hit the stage and wasn't nervous and just felt really excited. And then also when people were just kind of bobbing their head and just kind of enjoying it, and it wasn't bad. And obviously I was all right, this is dope. And also I just needed more. I was this just performing in front of 15, 20 people is not where I want to stop at all. So definitely got to keep going with it. I feel like my sound is a little bit more of alternative hip hop slash not old school sounding, but definitely old school lyrical style of just being really complex syllables matching and really talking about real content matter and doing it wittily and just intelligently. But then to beats that are that can be chill, but also hard, but not necessarily trap. And I just to talk about my actual kind of life and things I do and the way I look at things in the world. My biggest inspirations are the Flatbush Zombies, just because they do a great job of talking about real life and then but doing it making it sound cool and hard and how rap is supposed to sound. And they just have that perfect balance, so that's always kind of been my goal, is to find that balance as well and do it in my own voice.
Mm-hmm. And what are some challenges that you've had when it comes to finding that balance?
Definitely finding the right beats, just because I don't really know that many producers. I just recently met somebody that I'm kind of vibing with, so finding the right beats. And then just finding a way to be unique, especially in the early days, I'd write a song and then realize this flow is identical to Jack Harlow or someone that is out already.
Yeah. So
just finding a way to be unique with it.
This next question I got for you, I know you just dropped your new track Payout. Can you tell me how that sound kind of came about? I know you said with producing it, you kind of have a hard time finding laid back producers, but you did with that. So can you really just dive into how it all came together?
Yeah, so that song was a YouTube beat that I found just scavenging for those, and I just really like the sound of it, and just the way it just starts with the background vocal just going, hey, it's just it sets off really chill. So I was okay, the vibe of this song is definitely more relaxed and not anything uptight or up hype or anything like that. And so I just really try to listen to the beat and listen to what the beat told me, which is what I try to do for any song. And then as I started writing, I kind of started writing off on a party vibe, but then kind of took it to more of a real place, as if it was a conversation you were having at the party.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just kind of what I was thinking when I was writing that one.
Mm-hmm. You said that the beat really spoke to you, or you waited for the beat to speak to you. And you also mentioned how, when you were writing it, you were trying to come from the aspect of a party and, getting real as the track went on. Would you say those are two elements that really shine throughout all of your music? When you're picking a beat, do you not write something until you let it paint the picture for you, and then do you incorporate the intricacies afterward? Can you talk to me how that process goes?
Yeah, I really do try to listen to the beat, because I feel the best songs are songs that make sense and the beat kind of sounds like what the person's talking about. So that's always something I try to do, and I feel lyrics usually match the beat. And then I definitely try to talk about like real life content matter, like whether it matches the vibe of the song or just like something I experienced like the day I wrote the verse. I definitely try to mix in my own experiences whenever, because that's like what makes it unique, is like how I feel about it, because like me as a person is the most unique thing about myself.
And as you keep it real on those tracks, do you ever find any challenges with being vulnerable on a song?
Yeah, I don't really have a problem like with the concept of just being like honest or whatever, but sometimes it's hard to find like ways to say that and still sound cool and like witty and not so like, I don't know, complaining, whining, you know what I mean?
So as you continue to go on, and that vulnerability I feel like is a really strong part of your music along with everything else. How are you going to make sure that you stay witty and keep all the elements that you want to keep while also being real on a track? Kind of surpassing those challenges that we talked about earlier.
Definitely just practicing with the pen and staying sharp, and then also just like studying words and exposing yourself to new vocabulary and ways to express yourself.
Say you're exploring new words or learning a new vocabulary. What do you think your mindset's going to be when you're applying those to the page and the raps?
It's hard to actually apply the things you like to talk about, but definitely just like fun and just focused as I fall in love with the little victories and just like get a little bit better every day.
Yeah, those little victories are really what keep you going at the end of the day, because say you put out a song, it doesn't get a lot of plays, but all the plays that it does get, those people are like, man, this is some of the best shit I've ever heard. We got to keep it up. Like, I'm rooting for you, all this and that. Like, those are the little victories that are, putting you in mode where you're like, all right, I got to keep going. That's how it is for me, and I'm sure you can relate to that on Suntune as well.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day, because like when I first kind of started like rapping like 2 years ago, and no one really knew, it was like it didn't matter if I like chose to stop at any point or whatever. But now, like, even though it's a small handful of group of people, like there are some people that look at me like they look at other people and would like be disappointed if I was like, hey, I'm done. So it's like just that small amount means I can't stop, which means I just have to see how far I can continue to go.
And is that something that really at the end of the day is something you strive for? Just people to keeping you going?
Yeah, definitely that, and definitely just keeping going, doing it for myself as well. Like, it's something I've always thought would be cool to do since I was a kid, and like I just really want to pull through for it, for like the kid in me, and then also just the kid in everybody, and just be a symbol that you can like do whatever you want, even if you don't decide to do it till you're 19 years old.
I love that you're trying to get to the kid of everybody, because it's present in everybody, but a lot of people just through the stuff of life or their career paths or whatever, it kind of dims out. So I'm happy, Nilla, that you're trying to bring it back together, because there's a lot of artists who are kind of just speaking to their experiences, which there's not a problem with that at all, because you do that as well, but also tugging at the inner kid in everybody. That's a whole different aspect that definitely needs to be explored. So I like that you're doing that. This next question I got for you, on payout, you talk about how you've been doing hella shit that you hate all day for the payout, and that's something that I can relate to as well. How do you feel like money will help you out when it comes to getting to where you want to be?
I feel like money helps me specifically as a rapper, because I'm like trash at like mixing my own stuff, so I definitely got to be getting to the stew, and then just like being professional about going about acquiring beats and like actually paying for the license and whatnot. And then just once the surf starts getting bigger and you got to travel, like you got to pay for things like that, and then obviously just like having enough money to be comfortable and not be stressed about money, so you have energy to create music and perform with all your energy and just have a clear head. So not so much of like buying like flashy materials or anything like that, but just like being able to acquire the tools you need to acquire and like not stress out about it.
I like that you talk about acquiring the tools that you need to acquire, because like you said, a lot of people will put money into the stuff that doesn't matter, like the flashy stuff, and forbear really investing in themselves. But I feel like investing in yourself can kind of go past money as well. And I know you talked about you know, making sure that you're getting the right beats and everything else, making sure mixing and engineering is perfect. Have you ever thought about exploring production or mixing and engineering?
Yeah, definitely something that in the long run I want to learn how to do myself, just so I can it can all come from me and I don't really have to rely on anybody. Not that I don't want to work with anybody, but just at the end of the day, if I end up in a room by myself, like I'm still capable of doing everything I need to do. But like, yeah, doing it is definitely something I'd be interested in, just because I love like getting in the studio. Like my friend I've been working with, Alex Rengers, who is like a mixing and producer, like I'll just sit in there and he'll like make the sounds and I'll like chime in with my ideas, and it's definitely a lot of fun. I definitely would like to get into doing it myself.
And is bringing that you know, going into that process and bringing the song to life, is that something that you really cherish?
Yeah, no, it is a lot of fun, like, because when I like write a verse, I'll like hear it in my head how it's supposed to sound, and then I'll like go to practice it the first time and it doesn't sound how it sounds in my head. I'll like have to get to that point, like practice and really refine the delivery, and then it's just a lot of fun to hear it in the, you know, in the DAW, especially like raw, and then you're like ooh, and then like, you know, add vocals or effects to it, and then it sounds good, and then eventually at some point, if you put the time, it sounds how it sounded in your head. And that's like one of the best moments about making a song.
Just really bringing it to life from your head to, you know, the studio, for real.
Definitely.
This next question I got for you: as you continue to grow as an artist, where do you hope your art will take you?
I'm hoping my art takes me to a place where I can do it full time, and that I can like perform and tour and like release albums that a significant amount of people listen to. And it doesn't necessarily have to be crazy like stadiums, just because I love the intimacy of a small venue. That's where like I've seen some of my favorite artists, and it's just like been such a cherishable memory. So that's kind of what I like want to create for other people. Like I don't necessarily want people to like have to pay a ton of money to sit in the nosebleeds of a stadium. That's not necessarily where I'm going, but just somewhere where I'm like in it and not necessarily like a crazy big star. Like I would love to just be like at Rolling Loud, but just like one of the smaller names, not like the headliner necessarily.
Staying on that kind of topic, what does your dream performance look like?
So my ultimate dream performance would be to headline and sell out Red Rocks Amphitheater in Colorado, because I went and saw like a bunch of my favorite artists there for the first time, and that was really the first time that I was like, yo, that like show was lit. Like I would love to do that for like ever. Like that'd be sick. So that's just kind of where it started, and even at that point it was just like kind of a joke, but it's like gotten more real and more serious, and so now it's like that'd just be the ultimate full circle to just perform there with like the whole stadium full and see everybody, all 10,000 people there.
So would you say keeping things full circle is something that's big for you?
Yeah, definitely. I would like really love to do that. I feel like my career wouldn't be fully successful unless I get to like do that, just as like personal goals I like to set for myself.
On that tip of personal goals, what are, say, 3 personal goals that you have as far as the music goes, both short term and long term?
Long term, I want to get in the studio with Michi Darko, who's my favorite rapper, at some point. I really want to do a versus at some point, just because like freestyling / like freestyling public something is like definitely a weak suit for me and something I'm trying to work on. So to like come full circle and be able to accomplish that would just be really like, you know, pivotal for me as a person. And then I really just want to get to a point, I want to have a really like high budget music video someday that just looks like a movie, and there's just like a bunch of different scenes and locations, just because like right now I'm making my own videos like with my phone, and we're just kind of limited to like around here or whatever, and the props are like whatever I already own. So it's just like I envision like the most like successful version of myself, you know, walking on some movie set looking thing with like a bunch of different like, you know, extras and stuff like that. Yeah, I think those are 3 pretty big goals I got.
Okay. As far as the future goes, or the present, whichever you want to touch on, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about that I didn't touch on?
Yeah, so I got a show coming up on March 17th. It's St. Patrick's Day. It's in the Bone Student Center at Illinois State University. Definitely come out to that. That's going to be a good time. I got 2 openers. One is V8 Vast Change, who's another MC in the Bloomington area, and then also Jenkins, who's an MC from Peoria. They're both really fun, good rappers, good guys to listen to, and it'll be them and myself, and so I'm just really excited to perform that night, and everybody should get their tickets. You can get them at bigelowt.com, and you can also get some merch there as well.
Okay. Perfect.